new episode of this PB a little late. This is my friend Jacoby. Chase couldn't make it tonight, but he's a former Virginia Tech grad and a fan. Jacoby, say what's up.
What's going on, Hokie Nation? Happy to be here, Kent. Obviously, I wish it was under better circumstances with the heartbreaking loss to Miami on a questionable overturned call. Nonetheless, here we are. We got Stanford on the road, another road game, back-to-back road games for the Hokies. So we're looking for a win, and not only a win, but I think we need to dominate. If we stand a chance at potentially competing in an ACC championship situation. So
yeah, there's no divisions. Anyway, the last time the Hokies played Stanford was in the Orange Bowl.
That's right.
It was 2011. We lost 4-12, but two good moments. One because of safety, and Tyrod Taylor spin around turn and throw it to David Wilson, an awesome catch. Andrew
right.
Luck was the quarterback for Stanford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyrod is one of my favorite football players. That played at Virginia Tech, obviously behind Michael Vick. But that was a crushing season. But Stanford is a much different football team. They're in a different conference. And it'll be interesting to catch up on kind of what their program looks like. So,
yeah, Stanford's in our conference, by the way.
Right, it's their first year in the ACC.
Yeah, their first year being the ACC. Well, last Stanford, see here. Stanford head coach is Troy. Troy. It's his third season at Stanford. Last season they finished 3-9. Now they are 2-2. It's a pretty.
Yeah, can you tell me who have they beaten in these 2-2 games?
I think they beat a small school and they beat Syracuse.
Okay.
That's who they beat. They beat Syracuse.
So they're coming off an in-conference win.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we know what what we need to do here. We're coming off several. The Miami game is, it is what it is, but losing that game by 4 points, you hear a lot of people, Hokie Nation. I was looking at, online, and obviously you have a lot of people that agree that the call shouldn't have been overturned. Even Kirk Herbstreit, who, in my mind, notoriously loves to, count on the Hokies, downfall. Even he was outspoken about it. And then, obviously, the Rutgers loss by 3 at home. And then Vanderbilt is the other game that we lost this year, also by 1 score. So
yeah,
all 3 of our losses are 1 score, and that's something we need to keep in mind. Our record, I don't feel like reflects the level of play that we're at, but I think that we need to make a statement at this game on the road and really, in my eyes, we need to win by 2.5 scores,
Yeah. See, here's the deal. Those 3 games is games that Tech should have won. I will say this about that Miami game. That Miami game, I know we gave the hammer up, but there was a couple of things that Brent probably make mistakes too. After a field goal, we called timeout before that game, and then poor clock management, and then he faked a field goal.
I like where his head was at with the fake field goal. I know that a lot of people are pointing it out as a potential reason that cost us a game. But at the end of the day, we lost the game by 4 points. And a field goal is only 3, obviously. So, that fake field goal, I like where his head's at. It's a little bit outside of the box. With Frank Beamer being our, previous coach that was, worth talking about. I think it was it was something new that we were bringing to the table, and Miami's defender, he just did a good job of being there to make that play. So that was good heads up play on his end, and yeah, I don't mind that call.
Oh, okay, then. So you want to talk about Stanford's offense?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it. I can pull up their stats as well, but
You got your computer because I might not be good of remembering names.
sure, yeah, I'll pull it up.
The quarterback is Ashton Daniels. In
Which I
game
heard he'll be sitting out.
is
That was a
I,
rumor that I heard. I'm not sure if it's an absolute positive, but um, yeah, that's what I've heard.
well, I did. Unfortunately, I didn't. I didn't saw nothing on the message board. I didn't went on the message board. I didn't saw nothing on Twitter. So,
Well, that'll be
and
interesting. I guess that'll be a game time decision for him.
you know his backup quarterback is right.
I don't. I'm looking at the roster now.
Yeah, I'm going to just want to mention him. I guess. Like I took these notes a few days ago, like on Monday. So that's why I'm mentioning him.
Yeah,
Well, actually, Daniel, because he plays in game one, he was 17 and 35, 162 yards, one interception. Game two is 19 and 23 at 200 and 221 yards, two touchdowns. Game three is 23 of 38, 178 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Game four, he was 9 and 19, 71 yards and one touchdown and three interceptions. And the full stats of 2024, he had 60 completions, 115 attempts, 59%, 633 yards, and five touchdowns and six interceptions. That's the full stats of
I have him pulled up here now, and the one thing that sticks out to me, and obviously, sometimes as a quarterback, you can't control a tipped ball becoming an interception. I don't know if that's the case for him, but I do see six interceptions on his stat line, and that's something that if we could pick off Cam Ward, I know some of those were pickoffs, but that one play towards the end zone where our guy made a heck of a play and picked the ball off, it's
yeah.
going to be a difference maker for Virginia Tech in this game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention a little in case that people would mention a couple. And just Brady Malno, a center, Vernon Moore, a center, will be missing this games day by day. Brady Munoz will take his place. Backup defensive tackle Kamari Copeland will be out for the rest of the season with an injury. He's redshirting. That's all. That's a little injury update
Yeah, and
for Virginia.
it's losing your guy up front is never going to be good. But I like the way that our backup was able to come into the game and manage that. I mean, that was a big setting. Miami night game in their in their territory. He came in. He did a good job. So
Yeah.
hopefully we're looking forward to seeing a continuance of that.
Yep. Anyway, there, Stanford's running back, Cedric, Ibert, I think is his name. I think he's only got. I think that they get. I got to list all those two running backs. Game one is a 5 carries, 24 yards. Game two, 5 carries, 100. I mean for 10 yards. Game three did not play. Game four, he 4 carries and 30 yards. In 2024, 14 carries and 64 yards. In 2023, he had 26 carries, 113 yards, and one touchdown. So their running game was not that good.
Which might explain six interceptions and kind of
Yeah.
his, if he's going to the air a lot, then that would make sense if they're not having success on the ground.
Yeah, I know.
And that's one, department, Kent, that we strived in. I mean, Tootin against the Miami defense that is supposedly ranked number 7 in the country, which I don't agree with. And I think that
Got the point.
right, but Tootin, who we know is he's our rock. You know, he carried the ball 19 times for 141 yards, averaging 7.4 yards in the Miami game, which I mean, if you're a coach, you're going to be happy about that stat line, especially
Yeah.
against a top 10 ranked opponent. So I think we need to keep feeding him the ball, and obviously Kyron Jones is effective on his feet as well, as throwing the ball
Yeah.
downfield. One thing I will say I did notice in the Miami game was the difference in the accuracy between Cam Ward. You got to give it to him; he's an accurate passer. He was on the money with
Yeah.
a couple of those balls that were just really well thrown, and I know that they're cousins, Cam and Kyron, and they trained together. But Kyron seemed to have a little bit of trouble towards the start of the game with some of his accuracy. So I hope that our offensive line can provide him a buffer so he can really hang in the pocket, get comfortable, and deliver a good pass.
Chase told me first interception wasn't his fault. It was like was the
No,
wide
it
receivers.
was a tip ball.
It was a tip ball. See, I didn't saw the beginning of the game. So I
Yeah,
went to.
no worries. Yeah, no, it was it wasn't a direct mistake of himself. The ball could have been placed a little nicer, maybe. The receiver could have been in a better position. I think the ball was behind him, is where it was thrown, which kind of threw things off. So that's something that he needs to lock in on. Um, that would be what I would have to say about that. So I do, and I saw his last name, and I will attempt to. It's Ao Manor. Ao Manor. Um, Pretty impressive stat line.
In game one, game two, 3 receptions and 45 yards. Game three, 7 receptions and 87 yards, 1 touchdown. Game four, 4 receptions and 50 yards and 1 touchdown. 2024, he had 21 receptions and 289 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be their go-to guy, and
Yeah,
I'm sure that this week they have been watching tape and studying, that portion of their offense, since it seems like that's where they're most effective. So,
yeah. In 2023, he had 62 receptions on 1,030.
um, yeah, I mean, he's he's a solid guy. I mean, he's a sophomore, so this is only his second year, so he's a little bit of a younger guy, but 6'2", 210 pounds. That is that's obviously something to be reckoned with. And as we saw in the Alabama Georgia game, with Ryan Williams, that young 17-year-old, age doesn't matter.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, other receivers, Tiger Bertram. You, you got down your ESPN app.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Um, we can just call him Tyler, I guess, because that sounds like
Oh,
another name that I might.
Tyler.
But
Tyler's.
yeah. Um, but yeah, what's his stat line looking like? What do you see?
Well, a couple of games, not very much. Game one, 2 possessions on 11 yards. 1 possession, 7 yards for 2 games. For yet three receptions and 18 yards. and for 2023, it's 36 sessions and 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. So yeah, they don't got very good wide receivers. Like I said, that's why I write down the top 3 and not 4.
Right. Yeah, I see. Sice, I guess, is how it would be pronounced. With 20 receptions and 170 yards, he looks to be you know, their second look. And then you also have Roush, their tight end, who's averaging 7 yards a reception and has a touchdown. So, you always got to keep an eye on that. But based on the stat line, and this is an assumption, it seems like their Stanford's game plan is to, take to the air, and then once they get into the red zone, drive the ball, or force a field goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And our receiver Ishmael.
Yeah, Sice or Cease.
You already mentioned him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, right. 170 yards. Yeah. So, what do you think about the Stanford offense altogether?
Well, I think that look, they're coming off a win in conference against Syracuse, which I'm not sure how Syracuse is doing necessarily. I've only watched one of their games this year, but they've clearly shown that they can put together a game where they win, and our defense needs to be on top of this. Like, we as a team, we cannot take any more losses. So I really don't care who we're playing. We need to win every single football game that's laid in front of us, and we need to keep in mind that Clemson is coming soon. I mean, it's right around the corner, and if we want to make
That's,
any kind of statement,
yeah, that's November.
yeah, which I will be at that game in person, which is in Blacksburg. I'm really excited for that, but if we want to make any kind of impression, being that we're on the same side of the ACC as Miami, we kind of need a lot of things to fall in place, including an undefeated rest of our season, to even be considered to go to the title game. So we need a perfect storm.
Yep. Last time we went to the title game was 2016. Last time we won it was 2010.
Oh gosh. Yep, and that was Logan Thomas, right? 2016.
2016 was Gerard Evans. Logan Thomas was 2011 to 2013.
Gotcha. Okay, so Gerard, and who did we beat in that title game? It must have been.
We didn't win the title game.
Oh, we just went.
You just went to it. We lost to Clemson, 42 to 35.
And that was Trevor Lawrence, or
It was their quarterback was
Deshaun
Deshaun.
Watson. Yeah. Well, something else that comes to mind that I think will be a key for beating Stanford is our kicker, Jordan Love. I mean, this guy is putting up NFL numbers, and I
Number
mean,
one.
hats off to him.
Yeah, he's gonna be 25 this week. I mean, he's kicked a 57-yarder and a 52-yarder.
And I mean, I I kicked in high school for a year, and it's a lot different than kicking in college, obviously, the stage, but not only that, the ball is on the ground. Like, this guy he's legit. If you're able to hit consistently from that kind of distance, especially with the pressure on you, being on the road, you know, with the game on the line, I mean, he's been ice cold, and shout out to him. I saw that he got special teams player of the week,
Yeah, I saw
and
that too.
you know, we're gonna need everything we can. Like I said, this football team cannot take a loss, and we can't even. If we beat Stanford by a field goal, I'll, I'm not gonna be satisfied.
Yeah,
We need to roll in there and force turnovers and score the ball, which we
yeah,
clearly know how to do.
yeah. It's a lot of conspiracy theories. I totally believe if Gerard Evans and Isaiah Ford came back in 2017 season, we'd be one of the ACC championship because Clemson's quarterback was overrated. He was just on a great team. It wasn't Trevor Lawrence; it was Kelly Bryant at the time.
Yep. And Clemson's team at that time was driven by their defense, who was very effective and
Yeah,
not only stopping us, but being a contender for a national title. So
yeah.
if that should be the ultimate goal of this football team. If we can't succeed in the ACC, then we're going to have a lot of trouble. I don't know if you watched the Georgia-Alabama game. Did you?
I didn't. I was.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's a different level of play. Those guys, they're bigger, they're faster, they're hitting, they're hard tackles. You don't see any arm tackles. It's fast paced. Sometimes I was wondering if the footage was sped up. I mean, it's a faster pace of play with bigger guys, and I understand why that happens. Um, you know, with the SEC just being the powerhouse in
Yeah.
general. But
No. Go ahead.
ultimately, we need to figure out a way to compete. These ACC games should not be a challenge for us. Obviously, you play Miami or Clemson and even Florida State from years past, and they have good ball clubs. But when you lose to Vanderbilt, who was the last team
You lose to
in
Georgia.
yeah, when you're the last team in the SEC and you come and beat us, I mean, it leaves you scratching your head, and that's why you see a lot of frustrated, Hokie fans. But I believe in
Yeah,
us. I think we're capable.
yeah. Not to commit conspiracy theory. The SEC refs might be a little bit rigged in the ACC refs. Do you saw LSU and South Carolina game?
I sure did. That was a great game. Shout out to
I think
Shane Beamer too.
South
What a
Carolina, I think rigged because I saw
it
bad.
was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, on a holding on offense and wasn't holding.
Yeah, which reminds me of that play in the Miami game where we had a
Yeah,
holding call, and
PJ.
yeah, even the announcers, and I mean, it didn't look like a call that would warrant holding, in my opinion. But I think it was like a 60+ yard touchdown score,
Yeah.
um, which would send us to overtime theoretically, if that's how you want to look at it. But
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you want to talk about Stanford's defense?
I don't know much. I saw that they have a defensive back that has 2 interceptions on the year.
2015 solo tackles and 19 tackles and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Kyron Jones, you obviously want to look out for that guy. Who's he lining up against, and you just got to be careful when you're releasing that ball. Is it worth the chance of somebody coming down with a reception, or should you just throw it away or take the tackle for the loss? We can't give up turnovers. That's gonna really kill us. Yeah.
They they got I agree, but they do got a weaker cornerback. He got 22 tackles, 9 solo tackles. Guarded Bennett. Yeah,
So similar stat line with less interceptions.
yeah. I don't think he got no interceptions. I don't think.
So what do you think? Do you think? I mean, are they are they better at protecting against the rush, or are they better at protecting against the pass?
Well, I forgot to write down their notes about their rushing, um, but their rushing defense and their passing defense. I mean, I think their defense is better than their offense. I tell you, we're looking at their stats. They got a linebacker named Trevon Taft. He got 10 tackles and 1 sack. So he got 2024. I mean, last year he got 2.5 sacks. And they got another linebacker named Davy Baylor at 65 tackles and 2 sacks. That's all I got right now.
Yep, and it's something I was just checking on here to kind of confirm, and it still looks like he's questionable. Is Stanford's quarterback, their starting quarterback? So it looks like they'll be coming into this game with their second string, and I mean I can't hammer it home enough. I don't care if their starter is playing or really who they've beaten. This is a must-win situation for the Hokies, and we need it. We know how to put it together. I just, I hope that the guys, and I'm sure that they're feeling good about this game. But I hope that they're not. Um, we can't come out flat. I love to say we're a second half team because sometimes it feels like it takes us a while to settle in. But yeah, we need to make sure that we come out like we did against Miami, put some points on the board on the first drive, and continue to put pressure on the quarterback. I know I mentioned I saw a lot of arm tackles in the first couple games that we had, and I'm the type of fan where I don't know, it just kills me to see an arm tackle. Um, we just need to. I know they know what to do. They proved it to me in Miami, and Coach Pry proved it to me. Um, I don't know. I hate to see some of the comments and some of the stuff floating around. Like people saying we're done with Coach Pry. You got to remember, Coach Beamer was not very successful
Yeah.
for quite a while.
It was till 1993 when he changed the football program.
Yeah, and I mean, he ended up taking us to the only national championship that any recognized D1 sport has ever competed in at Tech. Of course, we lost
Yeah.
that game to Florida State, but nonetheless, a feat in itself. And I don't know. We just need to get back in the in the scope of a national championship contender, and if we can't excel in the ACC, then we're going to struggle to do that.
Some people want to. I saw a Q&A thing, but some people also want to leave the ACC because of the call. But right
I
now,
think that would be ridiculous, but I do.
yeah,
I saw the same stuff, and
yeah.
it's in this
I mean,
same. Go ahead.
maybe it's Florida State and Clemson get their way, which I doubt that's going to happen. Maybe, but right now, it's probably not a good thing to do. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're big, joining the Big East,
The
you got
Big
to think,
no more, man. Remember
or not the Big East, the Big
Big
Ten,
12?
or yeah, Big 12, Michigan and those guys, Ohio State,
That's the Big 10.
Big Ten, yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State. The Big 12 is West Virginia and Kansas State and all them.
I think that's a downgrade, personally.
Yeah.
I think we needed, I understand people's frustration, but the best response to a call like that, if you feel like it's unfair, is to win out the rest of your season and prove to people that you are a national championship contender.
Yeah.
I mean, to be like perfectly honest with you, it looks like somebody from the SEC is going to win the national championship, and that's no surprise to anybody.
No.
Um, and we've seen Clemson do it. We've seen Florida State get there in recent years. So it's a capable conference that is in. I'd put them third. It's been a while since we've seen a Pacific team come through with a team that's capable of doing it, but the ACC is our home, in my opinion. We need to figure out how to win here before we start trying to go somewhere else.
You didn't hear those fireworks, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I think I heard fireworks going off a few minutes ago. Anyway, you got anything about Hokie? I ain't got very much to say, but you got anything about Hokies in the pros? That's what me and Chase usually does.
Um, you know, they're fleeting. I kind of wish Tyrod Taylor, which I know it wouldn't happen, but I'd love to see him on the Dolphins with weapons like Waddle and Tariq Hill. I think he would be a good fit with that offense. And they desperately need a quarterback, obviously, with Tua. Taking his protocol, which he should, but
Yeah,
um,
me. What do you think of the stats? How they doing? Like the Evans brothers? You can look that up if you want to.
they seem like consistent players still. I haven't seen much of the Fullers in a while. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I know that we have a couple guys on the defensive side of the ball that are continue to be consistent players, like Divine Diablo and mm, there's it's getting sparse, but I'm always pulling for him regardless. So Joey Sly, I know, has been bouncing around a couple teams, but he's always doing his thing too. So
Yeah. Anyway, you got anything you want to add about the Stanford team or not?
no, I hope that we can beat them in spectacular fashion and go home. We need to look down the pipeline and focus on this Clemson game because that's the only way we're going to make any noise.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you want to do score predictions?
Sure. I saw that
Yeah.
we were favored by 8 points. This was just one line that I looked at. Um, I think we need to win by at least 20 points. Like I said, I'd like to see 20 points over them. I think we'll give up points, um, but I would like to see maybe a 13 to 34. I think would
Virginia
be Virginia Tech.
33,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
saying? Tech
yeah.
wins?
Stanford 13, Virginia Tech 34.
Well, Chase in his score prediction, he projected 31-21. That's Chase's prediction when he sent me a message.
I think that's a fair gesture.
Yeah. I would like to see Tech score more points, but to keep it safe, I'm going 34-17. Virginia Tech wins.
I like that, and I think, like I said earlier, what's most important is getting ahead. Getting ahead. Going. We need to be going into half up by 10.
Yeah.
And if we're
Anyway,
not, I'm just gonna be stressed out, and we'll be in the same position that we've been all year. So
yeah,
yeah.
I know. Anyway, I guess I might close out. Yeah, the game will play 3:30 on the ACC network.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
Well, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, and
Yep.
yeah, appreciate all the viewers out there.
Yeah, I'm going to close this out.
Cool, man. All right, take care, Kent.
Okay, thank you everybody so much for watching this episode of Virginia Tech Football Show, Season 2, Episode 11. Till next time, let's go Hokies.
Let's go.
See ya.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.